What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Dual Hemisphere Hangout. I am one of your hosts, Luke, and join with me every single day. I do have my lovely co-host, Jake. Jake, go ahead and say hello to the people, my man.
Hello, I am very, very, very glad that we made it. It was close.
Yes.
It was going to be close. As you can see, the setup is like reversed. It's because I'm on
Yeah,
the opposite wall in a new house.
Uh-huh.
It took me
Woo!
a long, long time to build this setup. I promised Luke I had some thumbnails ready that I needed to make.
Yeah.
I got them to him last minute. Very, very last minute. It took me all of yesterday to build my setup and to cable manage. It must have taken me about 4.5 hours to cable manage the whole lot. But we're in, we're here, and
We're
I'm
locked.
ready to have a year of just being sitting in the same place, and then we'll probably move again, and it'll all happen at once. And
Oh my goodness.
I do not want that.
Hopefully that does not happen. But it's funny you mentioned that because we will see, but I might be moving apartments as well. So we'll see. Not anything. It's not a bad. It's renew lease is coming up, so we're like, are we going to renew or not? Is it cheaper to go somewhere else? Do we want to be close to the office? So we'll see. We're not. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but most likely will be. If we can get the place that we're looking at, we'll probably be moving within the next month or two. But not a negative move. Not a move because someone decided to kick us out. It's
those are nice.
We were deciding. Yes, yes, very much so.
But today we thought, like, we've done a lot of Pokemon content over the past, and I saw one of my favorite streamers / YouTubers, John Stone, doing this. And it's a really nice website of a favorite Pokemon picker, and you don't realize how hard it actually is until
it's pretty difficult.
You sit down and try and do it. So this is what it looks like. I believe. Have I got mine up first? Yes, I have.
Yes, you do.
I've just realized I've got a duplicate typing, so I'm going to pick something else. So this is what it looks like, and effectively you can click on each box. So we have in this type in this case, normal Gen 1. And it will show you all of the Gen 1 Pokemon that are normal type. And you have to pick one of them. And then at the end, we will save it for last. But there is a secret hidden column above and below, which is like you pick your favorite of the favorites. And then in the bottom left, bottom right, there is the favorite of all time. So I think what we'll do is we will run across the generations to and fro. And see where our differences lie, and if there's any controversial picks, which I'm sure there will be at some point in this.
There probably will be.
So my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, off the rip, normal type, it has to be Farfetch'd. There was a big toss-up here between Farfetch'd and Snorlax. Snorlax, I think, it's great, and I love the old Gen sprites where he looks way bigger than he actually is, because I think in 3D they kind of ruined him. For Fire type, I tried to stick away from the legends because there is a legend column on the end. So I went with Growlithe. When I was looking at them for like the whole like design and generic just look in this box, I was like, you know what? Growlithe actually looks better than Arcanine. So you got to show some love to the baby Pokemon. As always, the meme, it's Poliwhirl for Gen 1. Because Poliwhirl OP. I have Executor in Grass because there isn't much on offer, and I didn't want to pick a starter. Yeah, I didn't want to pick a starter, so like Executor is probably the coolest. Let's be honest, no one's picking Victory Bell. Victory Bell looks weird.
I love Victory Bell, though.
I didn't go with Pikachu. I went with Raichu. I think Raichu is a better form of Pikachu. It just gets because Pikachu has the mascot treatment. I think Raichu gets binned off, and it is actually an amazing design and a better color scheme in my eyes. Ice type, you don't have many. I think if you don't, I think everyone pretty much goes with Lapras at this point because it's rare. It seems like the only one in Kanto when you get one. Fighting
Mhm.
type, I went with Hitmonchan. I
Okay.
like boxing over kickboxing, so that's the only reason why. I prefer Nidoqueen over Nidoking because
Okay.
it's just personal preference, I guess. There is a lot of good poison types in Gen 1.
Yeah, there
I
are.
don't really class. You have to leave Gengar because there's only one ghost type.
Mhm.
Um, Ground, I went with Marowak because
Okay.
it was a toss up between Marowak and Rhydon. Flying type, I went
Fair.
with Aerodactyl because Aerodactyl is by
Okay.
far the best flying type in Gen 1.
Okay.
Don't at me on this one. Slowbro, this one was tough. I wanted to throw
Okay.
Alakazam in. I really did want to throw Alakazam in, but I think Slowbro is just on par, like a better design, and I think it's
Yeah.
the lore behind it is way better. Book
Mhm.
type, I went with Cypher. It was a toss up between Pinsir and Cypher, and maybe Beedrill, but I think
Okay.
Cypher takes the one home. For the rock type is basically just all the fossils, and Kabutops is just the best one by far.
Yeah.
Gengar could have gone with Haunter actually because the old Haunters are like sprites with the red hands do look better, but it kind of
Mhm.
lost those. Dragon, you only have the Dragonite line, so I
Yeah.
picked Dragonite.
Yeah.
Dark type, there is none.
Yeah.
Steel, there's only one. You either have
Yep.
one or three of them. Clefable, I picked out the fairy types because fairy type technically didn't exist here. But I think
Yeah.
Clefable is a nice one.
Mhm.
Starter, I had to pick Blastoise. I had to pick
Uh,
Blastoise. I'm a water boy, even though I don't like swimming. I'm not a very good
mhm.
swimmer. A gimmick form I think was kind of cool. I went with Chonkachu because I think Chonkachu is
Okay.
probably the best one. My favorite
Fair.
legend from this gen is Moltres. I think I'm probably
Okay.
like one of one person that actually likes
One
Moltres,
of one.
and I will hide my favorite. So we'll see how
Okay.
this compares to Lukey Boys, and then we'll maybe do a bit of a
Yeah.
deep dive into shout sleeper picks on Gen 1. So here is
Yes, for sure.
Luke's top
Yes, sir.
row.
Okay,
Jeez.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's some definitely some differences. Honestly, besides like the one, I feel like all the ones with the ones that we are different, the same one are the ones that are ones where we couldn't really pick
Yeah.
different ones for. But yeah, for normal, yeah, Tauros is my favorite normal type. It's such a cool Pokemon. I love Tauros. Such a really cool design bull Pokemon. Fire type, Arcanine. I love Arcanine to death. Long live Jalapeno. Um, favorite water type. Definitely. One thing about these lists that were a little different was I would go and pick one, and then I would immediately have to switch it when I saw it again in a different typing. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, because originally it was Lapras, because Lapras is like one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It's like in my top 20, and so I originally had Lapras, but Kingler, love Kingler. I have fond memories of rocking a Kingler and the good old Johto days, when I didn't pick Totodile as my starter. Grass, gotta go Executor. Clive is literally one of my favorite Pokemons of all time. It's only fitting. Electric type, Jolteon. I've never been really a big fan of the Pikachu line here. And I don't think Voltorb and Electrode have any much sustenance. So Jolteon definitely was probably the coolest, in my opinion, evolution out of the first three we got. Ice type Lapras, like I kind of said before, Lapras is one of my favorites.
No one's
Rare
picking Jinx.
Pokemon, yeah, no one's picking Jinx. That's questionable, but at best. Fighting type, I went with the OG Machamp. Machamp, I've always loved Machamp. Super cool Pokemon. Poison type, I went with Nidoking versus Nidoqueen because he just is cooler in every way, in my opinion. I think he's just sick. I just wish I love Nidoking. I just wish he was so much better, like to use overall. But love Nidoking. Ground type. I am a sucker for Sandslash, man. I love Sandslash.
What do
Sandslash
we have
is
on
a
offer?
lot of
There's a good
Diglett,
amount of like ground
Dugtrio.
types.
Yeah, there is. Like, you have your Rhyhorn Rhydon lines. If you, I would never like pick Geodude or Graveler as a ground type, but technically Diglett, the Cubone Marowak line, and then obviously
Yeah.
the Nidokings and Sandshrew
N-
Sandslash. So yeah,
Yeah.
Sandslash, kind of like one of my favorites. This is a super cool Pokemon. As a kid, you get him pretty early on because he evolves at like level 28. So he's a pretty, was it 28? It's 28 or 32. I can't
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
which level it is. But you get him pretty early on. He's a lot of fun. He's a cool looking Pokemon. Flying type, got to go the OG Pidgeot. A lot of it. Pidgeot's still one of my favorite flying type Pokemon overall. Psychic, I mean, I went with the basic pick here, but gotta go with Alakazam. Such a cool Pokemon. Bug type, it was a toss up between Scyther and Pinsir, and didn't really care about any of the other bugs. But Scyther to me is, I mean, it's a freaking bug with scythes. Like, what's not to love? Rock type, OG Golem. Loved my good old loved Brock the Golem on my Nuzlocke, so gotta represent Brock. Ghost type, Gengar, hands down,
Has to
super
be.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a dragon type. There's no other Pokemon besides the dragon. Dratini, Dragonite line, and Dragonite's my favorite out of the three.
Yep.
Dark type, there weren't any, but love the little dark ghost thing, anyways. In the Silphco, so to shout that out. Steel type wasn't any, so obviously Magneton by default. Sorry.
That's all good.
And then fairy type, I went Clefairy versus Clefable. Clefairy just for competitive reasons, love it. And then obviously, if you've been living under a rock, my favorite Pokemon, of all time is Charizard. I don't know if that's a spoiler at this point or not, but
So many spoilers.
but yeah, my favorite starter by far is Charizard gimmick form. There's a famous clip of me with Mega Charizard, so that's a given. And then legend, Zapdos.
Zapdos is a cool one.
It's a spiky fucking bird, dude.
It's-
So why not?
I do think, like, before Draft League came about and I used a Moltres, like, hands down, Zapdos is like head and shoulders above the other three. But then I kind of got a soft spot for chicken dinners, and then it was the flaming turkey bird just blew the water. I suppose you could carry on while we're here. So onto your Gen 2. I think Gen 1 were pretty much the same. I like the Tauros pick in normal, to be honest, but I have one of my I think my whole Twitch was based around Farfetch'd, so I have to pick it.
Yes, fair.
And I think Gen 2 is probably going to be similar for both of us. There's not a lot of Pokemon on offer in Gen 2. So
there really isn't.
It's kind of decided for you.
Yeah. So normal type Ursaring, because it's an Ursaring, dude. Like, it's a cool fucking bear. Fire type went on and did Houndoom for fire type. I love Houndoom to death. Honestly, prefer Houndoom over the Typhlosion starter line. I love Houndoom that much. Water type went Octillery on this one. Obviously, we'll talk about like starters in a second. I tried not to pick the same Pokemon for once if I could. And I do love Octillery. I love the fact that it has a move called Octazooka, because like what the heck. Grass type, Jumpluff. Again, not a super big fan of the starter line, and for Gen 2, there isn't. I could have went Sunkern, or I could have went Celebi, but again, I felt like going a cop out with Legends on sometimes on some of these typings was a little bit of a cop out, because they are by far cooler than most of them. But I do like Jumpluff. I think Jumpluff is cool. Ampharos as the electric type, again, you don't have much of a choice here, but we talked about Ampharos being one of my favorite Pokemon, so that was very fitting. Ice type, same issue, not a whole lot of ice types. Prefer them over the Swine and Piloswine line. Fighting type, Hitmontop. Again, I think Hitmontop super cool. Use them a lot in Draft League, so got to. Poison type, Crobat. Again, not a whole lot of picks here at that poison type level. And gotta love Fat Bat. Ground type, Donphan. Honestly, Donphan's such a cool Pokemon, man. I wish it was better overall. And every time I think of Donphan, I think of the first Pokemon movie where you see it for the first time. I'm like, that's sick. Flying type, it's got to be knocked out because of my team, the Norfolk Knockdowns. Draft League team, got to represent. Psychic type, we talked about it when we created an Omega Pokemon. I do love Xatu. I think Xatu's super sick, man. It's a cool Pokemon. I wish it was better, but I love Xatu. Bug type, you get pretty much there's a good amount of bug types in this one.
There is.
But I've never personally been a big fan of Scizor. I feel like a lot of people would go Scizor like for that reason. I've never liked Scizor. I personally have been a Scyther guy my whole life. I'd never really ever used a Scizor unless it was for Draft League. But they had a good amount, but by far my favorite and that line is obviously Heracross is a fan favorite. Ghost type, again, not a whole lot to pick from. So Mischievous was kind of like the default one. Same thing with the dragon type. There wasn't a whole lot. I think Kingdra's the only dragon type in Gen 2. So there wasn't
there's no
there
pick.
wasn't an option.
Like,
but but I do love Kingdra though. So like it was so cool. Like if there was another dragon type in Johto, I probably still would have picked Kingdra. Dark type, Umbreon. Umbreon's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I think number 3. Steel type Skarmory, dude. Like it's sick, man. Skarmory is a sick freaking Pokemon. I like him better than both Steelix and Scizor. Fairy type Granbull. Again, not a whole lot of there. You can pick some of the babies in that line, but I definitely prefer Granbull, and I definitely prefer it over fucking Azumarill. Hate Azumarill. Not because of any personal reasons, not because it's a terrible Pokemon, but Nick destroyed me with a belly drum Azumarill, and I'll never let go of that ever. Starter, Fraligator, good old Wally Gator. I gotta love it. Mega Ampharos is definitely my favorite gimmick.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you know anything about me, Raikou is my second favorite Pokemon of all time. So he obviously is going into that legend category for me.
Beautiful.
Because there's not a single legend that I can think that's better than Raikou that I would like. Like even all the other beasts, the birds, Raikou head and shoulders above the rest.
Slightly chopped off, but yeah, you get the dogs/cats, and then Ho-Oh, Lugia, and then Celebi. So there's not a lot to pick from. Mine almost similar. I went with normal type not Dunsparce, Dunsparce, just the original Dunsparce. Fire type I had to cop out on. I had to pick Entei. Like it's
okay.
There's a lot on offer. I didn't because I did the same thing that you said. Like I put Houndoom there, and then I got to Dark type. I was like, oh no, I like Houndoom. so I came back, and it's not going to be Macargo, and it's not going to be Magby, and I didn't want to pick the Typhlosion line because there's a starter column. So I was like, well, by default, I might as well pick Entei. I had Politoed in Water type because I love the Poliwhirl. I love the Poliwag line.
You love the Polys.
Politoed saved the line in my eyes. I really didn't like Poliwrath. So, like, coming up with a proper frog, not one that's got massive hands. I get that Poliwrath is like the natural evolution. It follows the scheme of Poliwhirl, but Politoed is great to me. Same with you on Jumpluff. I love Jumpluff. It's an amazing Pokemon. Ampharos, an electric type, which everyone and their mother will probably use it because it's a staple. It's a staple in the generation. Sneasel, I absolutely love Sneasel in the ice type. You'll probably see that most of these have got dark typing, but it's a secondary typing. I just lean so hard into that. Fighting type, I really like Hitmontop. So I've gone 2 Hitmons in the same first 2 fighting types. Poison, Bat, Wayne. I think it is just Crobat's amazing, great design, and a better evolution than Poliwrath. Donphan, everyone loves an elephant. I think to go without saying, when Pokemon make elephants, they are naturally drawn to by everyone, and I think Donphan's just a fan favorite. I picked Murkrow on flying type. I really like Murkrow, but I understand that it's completely useless in this gen, and it takes too long to get. Like you see all like the rocket. It's somewhere in Kanto, right? And you see all the rocket grunts using it. City. And I really wanted one. I was like, that Pokemon is so cool. And then you find out that you can't get it until like very late game, and it's completely useless. Psychic type, Zatsu. Luke converted me. I love the Totem Pole, man. I remember when I first played through, I thought this was a legendary. I was like, oh my god. Heracross.
It's such a cool Pokemon.
Heracross is just insanely good. I'm not picking Fortress. I'm not a singles player. I picked T-Tar for Rock type. I did and too. I don't know why. Godzilla sits with me. I like Godzilla.
Yeah.
Ghost type, I went with Mischievous. I think, is it the only one? Yeah. It is the only one. Kingdra's the only one.
Same thing.
Dark type, I lean away from the evolutions, and I'd already picked T-Tar and Sneasel. So out of all of these, I've pretty much... I'm Murkrow, so I've picked all the dark types.
Yeah.
Steel
I
type.
wonder what his favorite type's gonna be. Oh my
Oh, I
goodness.
don't know. Oh my god, there's no spoilers there.
We're gonna get
Yeah.
swerved.
Bug. Uh, si- I went with Scizor for steel type. The problem I didn't pick Skarmory because I thought was Skarmory on silver, so I was a gold player and I didn't
I
know
think
Skarmory
Skarmory I
was.
think Skarmory was silver, I
Yeah,
think.
and I think was it Ursaring that was
It was gold,
gold.
yeah. It's whatever one. Yeah, you either got Skarmory or you got Ursaring at the route below Blackthorn City.
Yeah. So I never knew this thing existed at all until Gen 3. So I've
Okay.
forever and a day thought this was a Gen 3 Pokemon, but it's not. So I picked
That's
Scizor
fair.
because I do like the design of Scizor and I've used Scizor a lot. Fairy type I went with Azumarill because I love the little belly. I love the round egg. It is what it is. Starter, I actually went with Cyndaquil. I was looking at all of them, and like Gator's
Mhm.
cool. They're all cool. I love
Yeah.
all of these starters. Maybe Bayleaf is a bit meh, and Quilava kind
Yeah.
of throws me off because like the flame doesn't follow all its way back. I feel like it should have had the
Mhm.
full Mohican.
Yeah.
But I think Cyndaquil is the best one. Gimmick, I went with Mega Ampharos because who
Yeah.
doesn't love Fabio? And then
Yeah.
Legend, I'd already picked Entei, so I had to pick
So yeah.
Ho-Oh.
Yeah. Ho is
So
great.
Pro
I
said,
think Ho is definitely just one of the ones, like when we talk about legends in general, as one of the more slept on ones. I love Hoa's design. It's really awesome.
and then I'll just quickly like go straight into Gen 3. So
Yeah.
Kecleon, I think is a bit of a sleeper pick. I picked it in my
Yeah.
BDSP draft. Protean with, and this thing gets all the moves, all the moves, and I think it just kind of gets washed away because it's part of like the storyline and it's seen as a bit of a, well, it's meant to stop you from progressing. It's
Yeah.
similar to cast form, and I really like cast form, but I don't. Was cast form in the normal types?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. At one point when I was going through this, I ended up with all the cast forms.
You do
But
love Cass.
cast form's useless, and that's why in every ROM hack, I always look to see if they've made cast form useful, and they never do. Fire type, not really much to pick from. I'm not a big fan of
Yeah.
Torkoal or Camerupt. So I did have a cast form line, but then I was like, you know what? No, I think that's a bit of a cop out because it's not always that form, so you can't
Yeah.
guarantee it. So I went with Torchic. I
Okay.
just think it was the better of the fire line. Milotic for water. I think everyone's going to end up picking Milotic at some point. Breloom for grass. Manectric. You don't really get many electric types in this. You get Electrike,
You get
Manectric, and then
+1.
Plusle and Minun. And only
Yeah.
select people like Plusle and Minun. I
Yes.
went with Spheal for ice. I love the little round boy. I'm not so much a big fan
Mhm.
of Walrein, but Spheal as a design I think is great. And especially the fact that it
Okay.
rolls, it just rolls around.
Yeah.
Feegs, the Medicham. This
Yes.
thing is
Yes.
written into Jackie Lecky history because similar to Luke and Seb, I did
Yeah.
like a sleep lock of
Yeah.
BDSP, and I got that tired that I couldn't spell Fies, so it came out as Feegs.
Thanks. Yep.
And then ever since then, that similar to
Yeah.
oh, what was it beforehand where I picked it up in draft Poliwhirl.
Yeah.
It's just been written into like favorite Pokemon
It's in
history.
lore. It's in lore. Yeah.
It's a lore. It's deep lore. Poison type. I went with Dustox. I actually like Dustox. I think it's a fun design. I
Yeah.
like the moth. Ground type. Everyone's favorite. Flygon. Flying type. I went
Mhm.
with Swallow. I was going to pick Masquerain, but then I put it in the bug type instead. Swallow is cool. I think it was ruined by its 3D sprite, but I really like Swallow.
Yes.
Gardevoir as a psychic type,
Mhm.
it came in and destroyed the generation, and then for the
Yep.
next two as well.
Yep.
Masquerain for bug type, I think Masquerain is it's a great Pokemon, and not many people use
Yes.
it because like if you're not completing the Pokedex, no
Mhm.
one's using Surskit
No.
at all. Rock
Absolutely not.
type, I went with Aggron. I remember getting
Okay.
this. I was like, at first when I caught the Aron, I was like, okay, cool. And then it evolved into Lairon, and I was like, all right. And then as a kid, and then it got to Aggron, I was
It
like,
stood up.
yo.
Then it stood up.
It stood up and got horned. I was like, yo, it's closest to a Digimon Pokemon will ever get, I think.
Yeah.
Sableye for Ghost type, amazingly competitively. Like, I tried using it as a kid and I was like, what is this thing? Usually because it comes with
Yeah.
like stall and it's the worst thing ever. You can't really get Prankster. Dragon, Salamence, by far. I think what have we got in that gen for Dragon type? Oh, you've got Flygon and Altaria as well. Oh, you got
you
the
got him out.
Latios.
You got to get him out. You got him
Yeah,
out.
you got. It's not bad. Absol for Dark type. I I love the disaster Pokemon. Metagross for Steel because it's a goddamn Metagross. Mawile for Fairy. I was going to put Mawile in Steel, but then it came to Fairy. I was like, I can't really pick any of these, so it's going to be Mawile. Starter. If it's not Mudkip, you're wrong. You're just wrong. And then I went with Gimmick Form Mega Banette because
Okay.
this is purely on design. The
Okay.
puppeteer is insanely good. And then Legend I went with Jirachi. Bit of an off pick, but I like how cute it is. I like that it's a jester, and if not, it would have been Rayquaza. It would have been Ray.
Yeah.
It's because it's a dragon. It's a flying
It's
dragon.
Ray. Yeah, I know.
So that wraps up my Gen 3. What about your Gen 3, Luke? Let's have a look at this.
So I think this is by far one of the ones that are probably gonna look similar, but also a little bit more different on our typing. So normal type, I love Vigoroth. I really do. It was between Vigoroth and Exploud for me. But I think Vigoroth is such a cool Pokemon, man. I really love it a lot. I'm like that. If this thing could be good with an Eviolite, I would use it, but it's not, unfortunately. But I love Vigoroth so much. It's such a fun Pokemon. Fire type, I love Torkoal. I think Torkoal is such a fun Pokemon. I love the Ash's Torkoal. It's the funniest thing in the world. That thing dove into a body of water and just sank. It was the funniest thing in the entire world. Love Torkoal. Water type Sharpedo because I mean, hello, it's a fucking shark. And it doesn't have a giant fucking nose at this point yet. Grass type, we do have Tropius. Tropius is super cool. I wish it was a better Pokemon, but vastly it's not. But it's still a dope Pokemon. Electric type again, we don't really have much choice here. It's either electric or Manectric, and obviously Manectric is the better version. Ice type Glalie. I mean, look at it, dude. It's sick. It's
It
sick.
does look cool.
I love Glalie as a Pokemon. It's a super fun Pokemon. Fighting type, I went Breloom here. Love Breloom. Always use Breloom. One of my favorite Pokemon. Again from this generation. Poison type, love Seviper. Again, wish it was better, but I do love me my Seviper. Prefer that over Arbok any day of the week. Ground type, obviously Flygon. Wish you were better. Unfortunately, you never get the love Nintendo, but he is the coolest, most well designed Pokemon. Flying type again, Swellow. Again, what else is there to say? It's a Swellow. Psychic type. I want a little cop out here because I wasn't in love with a lot of the psychic types here. And so there's a lot. Don't get me wrong. There's a ton to go for. But I was using a lot of them for different reasons. But like no one's favorite Pokemon. I mean that again. People love. I'm not gonna say that everyone has a favorite Pokemon, but the Spoinks to the Grumpix to the Solrox, Lunatones, Baltoys, Claydol. I forgot a Chimecha was even a psychic type, honestly. But for that one, I went Latios because I really do like Latios, and there wasn't really a place to put him. Bug type, Ninjask, super cool Pokemon. I love Ninjask. Rock type went Armaldo on this one. Ghost type, Dusclops. Love Dusclops. Slap that Eviolite on Dusclops. Dragon type, you got to go Salamence on this one. It's like 1A and 1B with me with Salamence and Flygon. Like it's Salamence is here and Flygon's like right here. It's like right below it. Dark type Absol, love Absol to death. I think I mentioned that he was my sleeper pick for my top 10. He just barely missed the list, but I loved Absol. I love his storyline. I love how he's the disaster Pokemon. Super cool Pokemon. Again, just wish he was better. Steel type, had to go Metagross here because it's fucking Metagross. Fairy type, definitely went Gardevoir on this one because again, you can't lack the impact on Gardevoir, and I always for nowadays I think of Gardevoir as a fairy type versus a psychic type.
Yeah,
Starter line, honestly, I'm not in love with the Gen 3 starters as much as I used to be as a kid. But if I had to pick one of my favorites, it would be Sceptile. Uh, Gimmick form, love Mega Sableye, dude.
it's
It's
so
so
good.
funny.
It's so
It's
good.
so funny. It's so good and it's so funny. And then Legend, I mean, it's Rayquaza. Like
It's
it's not
Rayman.
even there's like it's no diff. You're going Rayquaza here.
Oh, and I see in the next row there is
Oh yeah, you
in
already
the
know.
normal box.
Yeah, you already know, dude. Yeah, it's God the Bidoof. Yeah, I mean, literally, if it was possible, I would put Bidoof in every type because he's the best. But
Just
all memes aside, all
a
memes
table of
aside,
Bidoof.
all memes aside, yeah, Bidoof's there because it's Bidoof, it's God. Like it's like you're here with streaming he was like my go-to Pokemon. Love Bidoof. He was my troll. You know, he was God. All hail the God Almighty. He has risen on Bidoof. You know, his birth. He rose. You know, a couple days. He's going to be rising again in a couple days on Easter. But yeah. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, Bidoof normal type. Yeah, I feel like if you don't pick Bidoof, you're just not in the know on the meme. But fire type, I Magmortar again. I love Magmortar. I think it's super cool. Kind of had my there's again no fire types in Gen 4 at all.
Yeah, it's the
So
monkey or the oven, and then
it's
Heatran.
monkey, yeah, monkey oven or Heatran. So I was using the monkey for another one, so I had to go Magmortar here. Water type, I love Floatzel. I think Floatzel's super cool. He's always on my team. Like he was always my water type I would pick. I always used him. That was always a tough one because I was kind of back and forth with him and Gastrodon.
Oh yeah,
Grass type. Not in love with a lot of the grass types in this generation. I do love Leafeon. I am a sucker for the evolutions. I do like the evolutions. Most of the evolutions I do genuinely like. And then looking at what we had as options, not again, not really big fan of the Turtwig Torterra line. Not really a big fan of the Budu and Roserade. Forgot Cherim and Cherubi were Pokemon. Won't lie. Carnivine's fucking weird. And then I hate Snover because I hate that icy area in Gen 4.
it is
And then
annoying.
Tangrowth. Yeah, Tangrowth is just weird. I wouldn't trust him in life
No,
in
I wouldn't
general.
either.
Yeah, he's kind of creepy looking. Electric type, Luxray. If you don't pick Luxray, I don't know what you're doing at that electric level. Weavile is the dark. Oh God. Weavile at the ice level because I mean ice type Weavile, cool. Fighting type want Lucario here because I do like Lucario. Poison type going Drapion. Ground type going Gliscor. Flying type. Honestly, it's just funny. I think I love most of the regional birds. Just think they're perfect. I think the first, four generations of birds, they did a good job with the main ones. I think they're just legendary and they're great.
Yep,
Psychic type went Gallade here. Unlike Gardevoir, I look at Gallade more as a psychic type than I do as a fighting type.
yep,
So that's really fit here. Bug type, Yanmega, because it's freaking a cool Pokemon.
it's
What
really
a
cool.
awesome way to give Yanma an evolution, and they gave him in the best way possible. And going on that evolution train, Probopass for the Rock type, man. I'm not a big fan of the fossil Pokemon in Gen 4. Really, I mean, I like Grand Protos and Bastiodon are cool. Don't get me wrong, but I think Probopass is
Nope,
pretty
yeah,
cool
that one.
indeed.
Yeah,
Ghost type in this one. I just love them. I love Drifloon. I love the little storyline. I love the Valley Wind work where can only get them on Friday. I love that stuff. Dragon type. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest fan of Garchomp. And because I'm not a big fan of Garchomp, there wasn't much room for
nope.
other dragons. So I went with my favorite one, that being Dialga. Um, dark type, we talk. Jake, hyped me up on Honchkrow a lot. So Maggie's got to go there at the dark level. Steel type. Again, well, I'm not the super biggest fan of a lot of the types. Again, kind of there wasn't really much room to go for it. And
No.
again, I'm not a big fan of Shieldon. Bronzor because has been ruined for me because of the Nuzlocke race me and Seb did because I ran into so many of them. So Empoleon was kind of like the default choice here. Fairy type Togekiss because it's
Love
a
it.
Togekiss. Starter, I do love Infernape, I really do. And then gimmick form, I do love me Mega Gallade. I think it's a dope Pokemon. And then favorite legend of Gen 4, it's Darkrai. Like I love
Darkrai is
Darkrai.
so cool.
It's a cool Pokemon, man. I love its mythos, I love its story, but it's Darkrai hands down.
Nice. I think I'm almost like the same, if not just a couple that are out. So I started off with Munchlax because
Yeah.
I think when they brought it in, I was like, why? But it makes complete sense, and the design has just grown on me over time to a point where it's like, yeah, this thing is actually really cool, and then getting the shiny one in Ogre Ousting, I have never been more locked in on trying to get a shiny than that. I was like, okay, this thing is so cool. People know I love Rotom, so the next two is Heat
Yeah.
and Wash.
Okay. Fair.
They've both won me a championship, so I need to I need to use them. I do like Tangrowth. I really do like
Okay.
Tangrowth. I don't know what it is. He is weird though. You wouldn't trust him with anyone. Big
Nope.
Bruce on
Especially
the
not
electric
kids.
type. Definitely not. Big Bruce on the electric type. This
Yeah.
thing again is Draft League law. It literally killed everything on the opposite team and my team with discharge. Did not care. Weavile is the same. Gallade is the same. I went with Roserade. I watch prepping with Nick a lot in season 3 when he was using Roserade.
Okay.
Opened my eyes to see how good this Pokemon actually is.
Okay.
And I thought, you know what? It's worth the pick here. Everyone picks Gliscor, and similar with Drifloon, they are the best. It helps that they're purple because I have an affinity to purple.
Yes.
Because I'd already picked Gallade, the Psychic type was really tough. I do like Bronzong, but I don't think it's worthy of a pick here, so I went with
Okay.
Azelf. It's
Okay.
one of my favorite of the Lake trio. Yanmega's the same. In Rock type, I did go Rhyperior. I feel like
Okay.
it's similar to Aggron. It's like it's just
Mhm.
big and it's there, and
Yeah.
something resonates with me about that.
Yeah.
Spiritomb for Ghost type, love Spiritomb. I don't like how you have to get it. Like especially in
Going
BDSP,
underground.
having
Yeah.
to talk to everyone in the underground. But that Pokemon is an amazing design. I did pick Garchomp. I do like it.
Yeah.
Maybe like it's only because I wanted to pick Giratina. So, and
Okay.
I don't like
Fair.
the other two. I don't like Palkia and Dialga.
Fair.
Again, Honchkrow. We did see in Luke Lucario was in fighting type. It's in my steel type because I don't like the rest.
Yeah.
Togekiss is the same. For the starter, though, I did go with Torterra. I think Torterra
Okay.
is an amazing design. Grass ground. There's not a lot of ice about. People don't have to run ice because it's really good offense, but really bad defense. So it can in Nuzlocke as well with Shell Armor. It can definitely hold your team together. It's definitely one of the better defensive pivots. I think Mega Gallade is probably the best one. I'm not picking Lopunny. People will cancel me. And Giratina for my favorite legend, just because I mean it's a devil man. It's
Yeah. Satan.
so cool, and I have never seen like Spear Pillar was like or Sky Pillar, whatever it is, was okay, but it's not fantastic for finding Rayquaza. But the distortion world, though,
Yeah.
like the whole premise behind the distortion world is so cool. I will quickly jump down onto my Gen 5. I went with Rufflet for normal because
Okay.
I really like the design. I'm not a big fan of Bravery, but I really like
Okay.
Rufflet for some reason. Chandelure, I think a lot of people will pick Chandelure. It's an amazing fire type, amazing design. It's Fire Ghost is just awesome. Water type, we didn't really have many, and I'm not a big fan of the monkeys. And I don't like Seismitoad because Seb ran through me with a Seismitoad in Draft League. And I don't like Keldeo because Keldeo just looks boring to me. Jellicent's kind of cool, but I went with the little turtle. I went with
Okay.
Tortuga. I think
Yeah.
it's cool, and I like it. I think it's a very good design. I'm not a big fan of Caracosta for some reason. I think they
Yeah.
could have gone
Okay.
a different
Interesting.
way, but definitely Little Tortle is
Okay.
fantastic.
Little turtle.
Little Tortle, um, Maractus, one of I think this could be top 20, maybe top 10 Pokemon for me. This I love Maractus. Don't ask me why. I don't understand why.
Okay.
It's just
Okay. I was gonna say why
you
because I
just
don't understand.
when you just have an affinity to a Pokemon and it's like
Yeah, I get
that
it.
thing is so cool. It's
Yeah.
just garbage. I have a lot of my favorites are like that, where I love them to
Yeah.
bits, but they're just garbage.
Yeah.
Um, Galvantula for electric type, I think it's a really good take on a spider, and a really solid design.
That's
Ice type,
unique for sure.
yeah, Cubchoo. I don't really like
Yeah.
Beartic, again, similar with the little turtle, but the little Cubchoo is cute and cool.
It's cute. It's cute.
Mienshao for fighting, I love the thing. Like, that thing is just there's something about it. I wish they just wouldn't have its neck broken. Like, why is it overlooking its shoulders? Let it look forward. The sprite doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Poison type, I really struggled with this one because I don't really like
Mhm.
any of them. Um,
Fair.
if you like Garbodor, you do you, boo. And then Amoongus, Amoongus has been ruined for me by VGC. That thing is like
Fair.
enemy number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's
As a
ruined my life multiple times. Um, Ground type, Crocorock. Not Crocorock, Crocodile. The whole line. I could have picked the
yeah.
whole line.
Yeah.
It was a toss up between that and Sandile because I think Sandile as a first stage is fantastic, but the Crocodile is just insanely good. Flying type, I went with Sigilyph or Sigilyph, however you call it.
Okay.
Love the colors, and I love the premise behind it. Like it's similar to Zatu, right? It's the whole like totem Mayan type Pokemon. Psychic type Gothitelle, love Gothitelle. I'm a big emo myself, so big up the emo clan.
Yep.
Bug type
Pick up,
Volcarona.
pick up the emo clan.
Pick up the emo clan. Volcarona. Can't
Yeah.
you can't say no. It just evolves a bit too late. Like Larvesta just got ruined by the evolution level. Again, colors with rock type. It's the Archeops, and I love how goofy it is. The way it flies,
Yeah.
because it like the 3D animation actually did it justice. It like kind of just like hovers around and tries to fly.
Yeah.
Ghost type I went with Cofagrigus. I like it a lot.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure why, because when you look at the ghost types available in this gen, it's probably like there's Golurk there, which I'm a big fan of, and your mask. But I think Cofagrigus is it's a really solid design, and
Yeah.
it fit in Gen 5 because it was in like a sand tomb area, so it's like a mummy area. It was coming. It's just whether it was in the first box or the second box.
Yeah.
My boy, the High Dragon. I put it in Dragon
boy.
because he
Yeah.
is a dragon
Yeah.
first and foremost. The dark
Mhm.
side comes afterwards. Plus, in this generation, we get access to Zoroark, and I think Zoroark,
Yeah.
Zorua and Zoroark, it was a toss-up, but I think that Zoroark is better. I love the whole illusion strats. Both of these Pokemon are like top 5 for me. Steel type, I went with Excadrill. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's ruined my life multiple times, but I do love a good Excadrill. Whimsicott for Fairy, Tepig for the starter, because I think this is the weakest
Yeah.
starter lineup in my eyes. And
By
then
far is.
gimmicks are also very weird because this is all
I
like
don't know what
spin-off
half these
games
things are.
with Beamo and
Yeah.
all the Wall of Death, and then
Yeah.
Karate Man, because you do
Yeah.
battle him as a Pokemon. But I went with Mega Rodino. And then my
Yeah.
favorite legend is rubbed off on me is Victini, the little fire
Okay.
animal that is Victini. I just love the color design, and Seb opened my eyes to how good this thing actually is with V-Create and Fusion Flare, and just generically just slapping your team, and you equip it with an eject pack, and it's a free like volt switch,
Yeah.
but it does like 120 base.
Yeah.
So Gen 5 was fairly simple for me. Like it was
Okay.
it was probably the quickest like run across that I've done. Let's see if
Yeah.
you've matched me on that one, Luke. Oh no, yours are way different. Holy moly.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so as someone who was a big Generation 5 hater, there's a lot of the Pokemon I picked not because of personal reasons. A lot of them are really just because of design reasons for real. So obviously starting with normal Statland, reason behind Statland is I have a shiny Statland, and that was from me doing competitive in Gen 5 and having to kill all those Lillipups to get my EVs, and eventually I ran into a shiny one. So that's why it's on there. Fire type Darmanitan, love Darmanitan. I think that's one of the sickest design
Could have done
Pokemons I've ever
actually.
seen.
Yeah.
Love Darmanitan. Water types. Yeah, I went Caracosta on this one. I am a fan of Caracosta. Don't They're not a whole lot of water Pokemon. I do love this in this generation. So I just picked the coolest looking one, honestly, and that for me was Caracosta. Grass types. Not a big fan of the grass types, but if I had to pick one, I feel like I needed to show the monkeys love, and by far the best monkey is Semi Sage in my opinion, design wise, and he just looks cool. Electric type, I do love Zebstrika. The Zebstrika is really cool. I love the Zebstrika line. Ice type, gotta respect Nick on this one and give him his bear tick because I do genuinely like bear tick. I wish it was better. It sucks as a Pokemon, but
If it just had a bigger speed stat, you could take
yeah.
advantage because it gets Slush Rush and Swift Swim. So it's
Mhm.
dual rain speed up. It's just when he's got 50 base speed, that's not enough. So,
Yeah, no. No, not at all. Fighting type, being Conkeldurr. Reason behind it, I have a shiny one of those for the same reason as a Statland. Killed a lot of Timbers for some attack EVs, and I ended up bumping into a shiny Girder once, and yeah, the rest is history. Um, Poison type, not a whole lot to choose
yeah.
from. Scolipede is probably the best one, in my opinion. Like Jake said, if you like Garbodor, do you boo, but not me. Ground type, Golurk. Yeah, we talked about how I love Mega Golurk. I love Golurk as a design Pokemon. Pretty easy pick on that ground level for me. Flying type America Braviary. Not really. That's not the real reason why I picked it. I just like Braviary in general. I think it's a cool Pokemon. Psychic type. I love Ray Uniclus. I think Ray Uniclus is a really cool Pokemon. Very well designed. Bug type. Love Iselgor. He is a cool little ninja guy. Love that guy. Super neat. Rock type Gigalith. I think Gigalith is a cool ass fucking Pokemon. Menacing looking. It's got lots of spikes. It's not great, but it's cool looking. Ghost type love Coffin Grigas, mainly because of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. He's the banker. He takes all your gold.
That's
He's a little
cool.
coffin. Yeah. Dragon type, I went Hydreigon. Had to respect. Can't be disrespectful like that. Dark type, love Scrafty. I love that he's just a little hoodlum. Needs a belt. He's so cool. Going into Steel type, went Bisharp because Bisharp, like it's a
Yeah,
cool
it's
freaking Pokemon. Fairy type, not a whole lot to choose from. So Whimsicott was kind of the default toe. I don't like the Gen 5 starters, but if I had to pick a favorite one, it would be Samurott. Um, again, I guess the gimmick form there wasn't a lot to choose
yeah.
from. I picked Aldino because I have a shiny Aldino, so why not? And then Legends, there's a lot of cool Legends to pick on, but I've always really been drawn to Cobalion.
Okay.
I don't know when I saw it first when I was first playing the games. I just really thought it was really cool, man. I really just like the design of Cobalion, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, it does
And
look cool. I think everyone is like originally drawn to Terrakion. Virizion isn't like the best, I guess.
yeah,
Uh, ah, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Cobalion as well. It's cool color.
yeah,
I
it's
love the
cool
mane
looking.
on it, and it
Yeah,
got shafted until Gen
yeah,
9 when it got a Paradox
yeah.
form.
Yes, exactly. All right, and then going into Gen 7, Gen 6,
6.
sorry, X and
This is
Y
boring, man.
was the quickest one because there were so little Pokemon, so
If we
I'm
just want to
honestly
run
gonna
over this, just like
yeah,
just
I'm running
quick,
through
because
it
this
right
was
now.
boring,
Yeah.
man.
Normal type Diggersby, never used it, but I guess I had to pick one. Fire type Pyroar, love lions, so that was always going to be one of my pick ones. Water type Clawitzer, I've grown to love Clawitzer through the draft league, so that's one of my favorite. So Go-Goat, solely because I saw a shiny Go-Goat doing a stream with Nick. I think Nick, Jake, and Seb. I forgot what the thing was. I think it was like a blackout thing. So I got Go Go, and that so it was shiny, so that's why it's there. Heliolisk, not a whole lot of choices. I guess that was the best one. Um, ice
Yeah.
type Aurorus because it's a long neck ice type. Fighting type Hawlucha because why not?
Yeah.
Poison type Dragalge because again, not a whole lot that I really cared for. Ground type, I mean, shit, I had to go Zygarde because
Yeah,
again, wasn't
I
a
think
whole
I did
lot to
as
go
well.
from.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you put
What do I? It's
Diggersby.
Megas. Yeah, I got Megas and Diggersby, so I went for Zygarde on that one. Flying type went Talonflame because Talonflame. Actually, I do like Talonflame a lot. Psychic type went Malamar because I think it's gimmick stupid, but I like the idea of having to turn my DS upside down to evolve it.
Yeah.
Bug type, specifically the Pokeball Vivillon.
Yeah, this is a good
Getting out
talking
of
point. The
yeah,
Vivillon.
yeah,
That's about as
yeah,
best as this game gets, to be honest.
yeah. Rock type, Tyrantrum because it's a T Rex. um, Ghost type, Aegislash because what else am I gonna pick?
Yeah.
Dragon type, Noivern again. Already
Nothing
picked
else.
Dragalge, so there's
Yeah.
nothing else to go by. Dark type
So bad.
Pangoro because it's one of
There's
the very
nothing
few
else.
dark types. I picked Malamar. Steel type Klefki because of Seb. The only reason why I picked that one. Fairy type Florges
There's nothing
because
else.
yeah, Florges because it's a Florges. Um, starter went Greninja is by far the best starter there is on Gen 6. Gimmick form. Since they gave us all the fucking megas, I went for the coolest mega and I went for Mega Gengar.
Yep.
And then Legend. Honestly, not the
Boring.
biggest fan of a lot of the legends in this game. I would have picked Zygarde, but I already picked him once, so I went for Hoopa Unbound because it's fucking crazy
I
looking.
mean, look at it, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right.
If I scoot to mine,
Your turn.
it's exactly the same, pretty much. Pyro, Talonflame, Froakie, Phantump. I do like Phantump Trevenant as a line.
Okay.
Heliolisk, again, Aurorus, there's nothing there. Hawlucha, Dragalge, Zygarde, Noivern, it's all the same. I put Hooper in Psychic. My favorite Vivillon is the pure white one, the snowy one. I think it looks amazing. Shortly behind the there's like a dark blue sea one or coastal one, which is gorgeous. Tyrantrum, Aegislash, Goodra on the dragon.
Fair.
Goodra,
Very
I
fair.
do love me a good Goodra, Gary the Goodra. Pangoro, Klefki. I went with a Aromatisse in Fairy because I've used it once and I do actually like using it. Greninja, Mega Gengar, and I went with Yveltal. I've like literally, I think 90% of those are all the same. Like that is like the most because you don't get any choice. I didn't realize how bad Gen 6 was until we actually got to this, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think they only came with like 7. It's kind of like the Gen 2 problem. They only had like 70 Pokemon to choose from on this one because unlike Gen 2, they introduced a whole new gimmick to make up for the lack of Pokemon. That
Plus, it
being
was
Mega Evolution.
the start of 3D, and you had to give them a break. They
Yeah.
were remodeling every single Pokemon.
Yeah.
Going into my favorite generation, I love this. Every Pokemon on this list, like I could just if you just gave me this row as my favorite Pokemon, I'd love every single one of them. Toucannon, Salazzle, Araquanid, Alolan Executor, because why the hell not? Charger Bug on my electric type because I think everyone again Draft League lore. The battery is insane. Alolan Vulpix, amazing Alolan version. I think it's one of, if not the best. Persimmon, I love Persimmon. I lean into Persimmon over Oranguru. I went with Poipole on the poison type because there wasn't much on offer. Ground has to be Sandygast, my longest ever Masuda hunt. I think 2,200 and something eggs for the Black Palisand, which is amazing. Flying type, if you don't pick a Minior, you're backing out, and my favorite one's the purple one. The shiny one is also pretty cool because it's all black with like the spots are all the different colors of them, but I went with the purple one. Alolan Raichu on Psychic, fantastic mon. Golisopod, I mean, why not? Golisopod is an amazing Pokemon. Rock type, I went with Lycanroc Dusk. It was a toss up between no, yeah, this one is dusk. Which no, this is midnight.
Yes,
It was a toss up
midnight. Yeah.
between dusk and midnight. I went with midnight because big up the emo clan again. My man
Yep.
listens to My Chemical Romance under the sunlight.
Yes, he does.
Oricorio Sensu for Ghost type. It's the best Oricorio in my opinion. I love the design of that one. Dragon type. Come on, we got a Komodo, man.
Yep.
Komodo. It might be 4 times weak to Fairy, and Fairy's just tearing through, but that thing is insane. Dark type. I love Alolan Persian and his big face. I don't know what it is. It's Dark types, man. I love them all. Steel type. Togedemaru. Why not?
Okay.
It's deceptively powerful. And especially with Iron Barb's Rocky Helmet, and you sit there and just click spiky shield as well. It can be so annoying with Nuzzle. Fairy type has to be Mimikyu, because I didn't pick it in the Ghost type. Mimikyu is like probably top 5 Pokemon for me. Poplio
Okay.
on the starter, because there's a whole load of choice here. I like Rowlet's great. I do like the Incineroar line, but I think as one of my favorite design wise is Poplio. And then I went with gimmick form because I'd already picked Alolan Raichu. I went with Alolan Marowak. And then for the legend, because in season 3 Draft League lore again, Marshadow, and I think just Marshadow is like completely slept on. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
good Pokemon. Ghost fighting, rips people in bits. It's got amazing stat spreads for a mythical, that is, because I think it's one of the first mythicals to come away from the 100 base stats across the board.
Yeah.
Love the signature move as well, and the Z
Yeah.
move. The Z move is, what is it, 7 Soul Stealing Strike or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's
It's
cool.
so cool. But that I to be honest, I could put every mon from Alola in there. I love every single one of them. I'll see what Luke
Yes.
picked, because this is not one of his favorite generations, but I know he likes a couple of them in there.
Yeah, so Gen 7, Sun and Moon, as we well know, I'm not the biggest Sun and Moon guy. I'm not a big fan of the Pokemon on this one. This was another quick one for me, but there are some talking points I do like. Again, like as I said, I do like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. The Sun and Moon hates, it can be a little played up. I do think Sun and Moon are awful, like games and zeros. It's just based Sun and Moon. Again, just to clarify for people, I don't hate Gen 7, just saying Sun and Moon's just trash. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon fixed everything that I had an issue with. And the Pokemon have grown on me over time, just like Gen 5's Pokemon have grown over me over time. But just to play it up for everyone that knows me very well, don't. This was a quick one. So Beware. I picked this one because of the anime. I love the Beware stuff with
He's
Team
the
Rocket.
Team Rocket blasted off, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Fire type went Alolan Marowak on this one. Water type was tough. I couldn't really think of a water type I really cared for, so I went for Toxapex on that one.
Yep.
Grass type went for Decidueye because I had another pick for the starter. Again, not too big of a fan of a lot of the grass types in this generation. Electric type went Vikavolt. Love Vikavolt. I think Vikavolt's really sick. Ice type went again Alolan Sandslash because I do love Sandslash, so why not pick the ice version? Fighting type Pissimian because I honestly can't really. Jake, what were the other fighting types?
So there wasn't a lot in there. You've got Crabominable,
Yeah,
Beware, and then
yeah,
if you're saving Jangmo, and then you're going into Ultra Beasts as well. So
yeah. So
it's
yeah, definitely it was. But yeah, it was an easy pick for Pissimian. Poison type, Salazzle. I think Salazzle is really cool. I like the gimmick of the only good one is obviously the female one. Ground type being Sandy Gas solely because of Jake and the shiny hunt. One of my first ever Jake streams I ever sat in on was him shiny hunting for the Sandy Gas. Flying type, Toucan. Again, one of my favorite Pokemon from this generation is a fucking Toucan. It's super sick. Psychic type, I went
Oranguru.
what is thank you. I was like, what is that monkey's name? Yeah, Oranguru. Bug type, after my whole rant of how I thought Golisopod was the sickest thing in the world, for the megas and needs one. Love it to death. I like it. It's cool. It's menacing. Like Jake, went Lightning Rock, but I went Dusk versus Midnight or Midday. Again, I think it's a really cool addition. Ghost type. Honestly, I don't like Mimikyu that much. So I went with Marshadow on that one for sure.
Yeah.
For me, Dragon type was I like Guzzlord. He's my favorite Ultra Beast. And I'm not a big fan of
Komodo.
Komodo or that line at all because it's 4 times weak to Fairy.
Yep.
Why'd we
It
make
does
another
kill it.
Hydreigon? Why? Dark type went Incineroar on this one because it's Incineroar. I love him in Smash Brothers when I play him. Used him in Draft League to perfection because it's really hard not to use this Incineroar well. Um,
Yeah,
Steel
that's
type
true.
went Steel type went Alolan Dugtrio because it's stupid looking. Fairy type I went Rabombi because I have a shiny Rabombi in Pokemon Go.
Ooh.
Starter, I went. Why am I blanking on these names?
Prim.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Primarina.
Primarina because of
Draft
Draft
League
League. I
Law.
used to hate. Yeah, used to hate Primarina. Now I absolutely adore it. This is the only one I doubled up on. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the gimmick forms here. And I didn't feel like just picking a gimmick form for the sake of the gimmick form, so I did pick my favorite gimmick form, that being
Yep.
Alolan Sandslash. And then we talked about Zeraora before. Again, Draft League lore. It is one of my favorite Pokemon. I love Zeraora. I love the design of it. It's super sick. Definitely, like Jake said, Marsha has a little bit slipped on, and it's because Zeraora is right there, and it's probably one of the more fan favorites between the two. But they both got their own movies, and I actually love Zeraora's movie as well. All right, so going on the wheel to Gen 8, the good old Sword and Shield era. This one was a little bit more difficult for me, because I do have fond memories of Generation 8, the Sword and Shield area. So normal type, gotta go double. Honestly, a lot of this has a lot to do with Draft League. I'm not gonna lie, Kanto's double, just
Don't
very fond
remind me.
memories of that double. It was a pain in the ass of battle, but I remember that. Fire type went with Hisuian Arcanine because why the I
Why
love
not?
Arcanine
Look at it,
and
man.
enough said. Water type Cramorant because of the sheer stupidity of it all. Um, Grass type, love Appleton. I love that. I love that Appleton. Love it very, very much. Electric type going with toxicity for that one. Amp
Yep.
form. That one's really fun. Ice Cube, we talk about how that was one of my favorite Pokemon because again, the fact that it looks so fucking stupid. Um, Fighting type went Surfetch. Finally, about time Farfetch got good. Poison type, looking at the slow bro.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
good, that one. I love that.
Valerian Slowbro, super fun Pokemon on that one. Ground type, I like Silicobra. I'm not a big fan of Sandaconda. I like Silicobra. I think it's cute.
Okay.
It's a cute little
Yeah.
snake. Flying type again, kind of following the trends. I mean, they do really good with these regional birds, man. They do really, really well. And yeah, gotta go with Corviknight on that one. Psychic type, Mr. Rhyme, again, sheer stupidity of the way it looks. Love it to death. Bug type, I actually really do like Cleavor. I think Cleavor is sick. I think it's a really fun Pokemon. Rock type went full on Colossal on that one
Oh,
because Colossal is really fun. Again, use it a lot competitively. Just love the gigantic max form of it as well. Ghost type Basculegion. Again, there's not a whole lot of ghost types I could have went for besides the one that's right next to it because that was going to be the obvious next one.
yeah.
But I didn't know where to put Dragon from there, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not picking fucking Duraludon. So the Dragon type by default is Dragapult. Dark type, got to go Grimmsnarl on that one. I look at Grimmsnarl more as a Dark type versus a Fairy type. Steel type went on and picked the nice little elephant. What is his name? It's not Qfin, it's
Coparaja.
Paparaja. Thank you. Yeah, went for Paparaja on the Steel type. Fairy type. Since Grimmsnarl couldn't pick Grimmsnarl, I guess I went Zacian. I just like, all right,
It's
cool.
cool.
That's cool. It's a Zacian. It's holding a sword in its mouth. Starter. Favorite starter from that generation. Again, Draft League. Reasoning behind it, that being Cinderace. Gimmick form, I do really, really like Gigantamax Toxicity. It's really cool. And my favorite legend from that generation is Galarian Moltres because of Jack.
Super. Yeah. Oh, man. And I mean, look at it. Like, they
Yeah, it's
gave
sick,
Moltres
man.
the treatment. Like,
Yeah, they did better.
uh, I'm similar to Luke on this one. I have really fond memories of Sword and Shield.
Mhm.
That being said, it threw in all the Hisuimons with it, so that put a
Yeah,
spanner
that
in the
was the
works.
yeah.
um, so in normal type, I went with Galarian Zigzagoon. I think it's a really cool take, and I don't think anyone was expecting Zigzagoon to get not
No.
only a form, but then a form evolution in
Yeah.
what's it called, Obstagoon, which
Yeah.
I love. I love the color scheme. It looks like a little Bertie Bassett. The like licorice sweets in the UK. And
Mhm.
who doesn't love a Zigzagoon, man? It knows
Yeah.
every single HM. I think everyone had a Zigzagoon that had Surf, Strength, Cut,
Cut. Yep.
the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
Fire. This is when I realized that they'd thrown in the Hisuimons because I was like, oh well, it's gotta be Hisuian Typhlosion. It's insanely good. Water, I went with Barraskewda. Only because
Okay.
Josh handed my ass to me with this thing in Draft League, and I was like, it never went on my radar on how good this thing was until it started
Yeah.
slapping me with choice band liquidations, and I couldn't outspeed it. And I was like, okay, right, and now I understand.
Yeah.
Grass type wasn't a lot on offer. I didn't really pick like an Eldegoss or something, so I went with Thwacky. I think Thwacky
Okay.
is if they'd have followed similar the way they did with Poliwhirl to Poliwrath with Thwacky to Rillaboom, I think we would have had
Mhm.
definitely a better Rillaboom because I really don't like the design of Rillaboom. Like I don't
Okay.
like the fact that it carries its drum. I feel like it should have just got
Okay.
longer drumsticks and like been yeah, it is what it is. Electric type with Pincurchin. The little
Okay.
spiky man, electric surge, I think is great.
I
Ice
do love
type,
Pincurchin.
I went with Darumaka. I think this little guy is just the coolest thing ever, and I like it more than normal Darumaka, Unova Darumaka.
Yeah.
I don't like the Darmanitan. I think what they did with
Yeah.
the Darmanitan was weird, but definitely
Yeah.
the Darumaka looks really cool. Fighting type,
Mhm.
you went with Sirfetch'd. I went with Galarian Farfetch'd because I will always be a Farfetch'd stan. I don't care that it
Okay.
evolves. It will hold an Eviolite for all it wants, or I'll just go in with a leak and crit you anyway.
Oh
Poison
my
type, I went with
goodness.
Galarian Wheezing. Again, amazing take on. I never realized Wheezing in a million years could end up from what it was in Kanto to something that Galarian Wheezing now. I think the design is awesome. Ground type, I went with Yamask because people forget that. Well, there is Galarian Yamask, but then it evolves into Runarigus, not Cofagrigus. And I do actually like Runarigus, but I looked at Yamask and thought it's a better design. It's just it flows better. And again, has really stupid evolutions. Like you have to have it on a specific HP point and then run underneath that rock in the middle of the the wild area. It's like whoever found this out, hats off to you because I would have never done it.
Yeah.
Flying type, big old Corviknight. I think everyone picks
Yeah.
Corviknight in that. Psychic, I went with Galarian Slowbro. I liked the whole storyline behind it, where it's just sat there waiting in the train station, ready to take you to
Mhm.
the Isle of Armor. Snom, slug on a bench. It was a toss up between Frostmoth and Snom, and I think
Stomp.
Snom is just it's the one man. It's so
Yeah.
cool. Here comes the Hisuian Arcanine in the rock type because I'd already taken fire
Yep.
type. It's insanely good. Ghost type, I went with Corsola Galar, the demon that is Corsola Galar. No one realized how annoying this thing could be until it sat there and took a G Max +2 what is it, max rockfall from an Excadrill and just strength sapped it all back up to full. The demon of the generation. And
Trauma.
then
Trauma.
following on from that, dragon, it has to be Dragapult. Probably
Yep.
the best dragon since Hydreigon by far.
Mhm.
Um, Dark, I went with Hisuian Quillfish. I think it's a really
Oh.
cool take on Quillfish. Not a big fan of Overquill, but it's black and purple again. One of my favorite colors, so it automatically throws it in the favorites. Steel,
Yeah.
I went Baby Copperaja. I went Q-Fan because
Okay.
I think I
Okay.
like Q-Fan a bit better. Fairy type, because I'd already used my Dark type, I had to put Grimmsnarl in the Fairy type slot. I agree with you that it's not a Fairy type, even though Spirit
Yeah.
Break is a Fairy type move. It just isn't. Starter, I like James Bond, or AKA James
Yeah.
Pond. He's a
James
cool mon,
Bond.
and then the G
Bond.
Max is
James
even
Bond.
better when he's just up there with the sniper. But it looks
Yeah.
it's so wacky. And then the gimmick form, I picked Hisuian Zoroark because
Okay.
that thing. I remember. Do you remember seeing the like the Pokemon animations? I think it was on YouTube of the Hisuian
Yeah.
Zoroark.
Hmm.
Oh man, that like embedded that Pokemon in like my favorites anyway. I love dark types, so Zoroark was already there. So then getting a ghost
Yeah.
normal type one, like especially with such a unique typing,
Hmm.
instantly put me into my favorites. And then my favorite legend, similar to you, Galarian Bird. I went with the Zoom Zoom Bird. I went with Galarian
That's funny.
Zapdos. Um,
That's cool.
Never was one of my favorites at the start. I was like, "What the hell is this thing?" And then I started using it, and we took it to Liverpool regionals, and this
Mhm.
thing slaps. It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Um, so that is my Gen 8. I suppose I should come onto the wheel and finish off with Gen 9,
Yeah.
and then we will go on to our favorites. Favorites
Mhm.
of the favorites, which won't take too long. So I'll
Yeah.
speed through this Gen 9 because a lot of it is. I think I've picked Baxcalibur twice actually by accident. I really like Baxcal. Where are we going? I suppose we'll throw a Chien Power in there just because.
Yep.
Grafaiai, I love Grafaiai. It was one of the first ones to be revealed in the Tag Tree Thicket thing. They did a similar thing to what's the forest, the Glintwood
Yep.
Tangle. They did a similar
Yep.
thing of we're going to stream for 24 hours and see which see which nerds sit there and watch it for all the
Yeah.
time. um, if you don't pick Cerulean Legend Fire type, there's something wrong with you. Water type, I really like the Tauros. I really
Okay.
like the Water Tauros. I like Tauros Blaze, but there's something about the Water Tauros. It fits better.
Yeah.
Hydrapple for grass type. I
Yeah.
love I love Hydreigon. Love Hydrapple. And more heads the better. Uh, Raging Bolt as the electric type. It grew on me when it first came out. It looked really goofy, but
Yeah.
the design works now. It took a while for
Yeah.
me to understand. Chienpao, fighting type Annihilate. I don't think anyone doesn't like Annihilate, and the lore
Mhm.
behind it of how Primarch gets so angry that it dies. They took the Pokédex
Yeah.
entry and ran with it.
Yeah.
9 generations later. Iron Moth, big fan of Iron Moth. This is where all the Paradox Mons start coming in because
Yep.
I didn't realize how much I liked the Paradox Mons, and half of them are on the game that I didn't buy. I got
Yes.
Violet, so it makes me miss them even more. So
Yeah.
on the Paradox run, we've got Iron Moth, Iron Treads, Iron what's the
Jugulus.
Jugulus? Yeah,
Yep.
thrown in the middle of a psychic type. I picked Farigiraf because it
Yep.
won me a draft league, and it's hands down probably one of the best mons in VGC. Then
Yep.
back onto the Paradox hype, which is Sliverwing.
Yeah.
I picked one of the Ogapons in here because I really like the Ogapon masks. I think the Cornerstone one is actually one of, if not the best. So I like
Okay.
Ogapon Cornerstone. Then back to the Paradox Mons, Fluttermane, back into the Pseudo for Baxcalibur, back into the Paradox Mon for Roaring Moon. Steel type pick King Gambit because I think it's a perfect evolution to Bisharp. And then Fairy type, I picked another Paradox Mon in Screamtail.
Yep.
Starter, I went with Fuecoco because I think it's amazing.
Yep.
Like, I think it's probably the best starter form or stage in this gen.
Hmm.
And then for the gimmick form, I picked Sinistra. Is it Sinistra? Yeah. I
Yep.
think it's with Machigotcha. It's a really good. They built it with VGC in mind. I like the design, and I think it's a way better one than Poltergeist. And then finishing up with my legend, it's the fish, the big
Yep.
googly-eyed fish. I like Chiyu.
Yeah.
There's something about it. Plus, it's dark type. Well, they're all dark type.
Yeah.
So. Let's see what Luke picked finally for his Gen 9, and then we go to favorites of favorites.
Okay. All right. Before we do, I realized I have made a mistake
Oh
on one of them. We
no,
gotta go to grass.
grass. Oh, there's an
And
Appleton
put,
again.
yep. No,
Oh,
no. Go to
that
grass
one.
and put.
Yeah.
No, no. I've made.
Oh,
Oh, oh, oh, oh,
what
oh,
are we on?
oh, oh, oh.
Made a
Okay.
mistake. So 116. Chop it out.
Cool.
So
All right.
you want Toad School?
No, I want Diplin. I just realized I
Oh,
did it.
Dipplin.
Yeah,
Cool.
I realized it. I was like, wait a second, where is it? And I'm like, oh snap, I forgot about Diplin. Like
Right, we'll
I
just
must
chop
not
it
have
where I
saw him
cut
on
to
my little
you.
screen.
So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
go to yours and we'll just chop it. So take away. You don't need to mention a
Yeah.
mistake.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So Gen 9, good old Scarlet and Violet. Yeah. So starting off normal type. Uh, love that Pokemon Company trolled us and gave us the Dun sparse versus Dunsparce. Had to. Like Jake said, if you're not picking Cerulogis, your fire type. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Water type. Love Pallet. I love the gimmick behind Palathin. Love its Hero form. Think it's finally gave us a proper Dolphin Pokemon after many years. Diplin, Dip God, aka the GOAT of Draft League. This thing just came in, sat, took lives. No one saw it coming.
I
It was a great time.
I
It
have
was a
never
great time.
seen a thing 1v4 in Draft League before. It's like I've
And it
seen it in
did.
VGC where you obviously your teams are like more generic, but when
Yeah.
to see something 1v4 in a highly specific prepped team is
Yeah.
unheard of. And the fact that Luke
Yeah.
got the
No.
first and only ever 1v4 in CCC history is insane.
Oh, how I've grown. So electric type went for Sandy Shocks on that one. Ice type, Chi and Pow. Fighting type, I love fucking Flamigo, dude. I think it's
It's
the dumbest
cool.
fucking thing. No, I think it's dumb as shit.
And the fact they gave it like broken stats as well, just to
Yeah,
like put
love
it.
Flamigo. Yeah, Flamigo is me amigo, and I will live by that. Poison type Clodsire because it's super sick. Ground type Blood
Ooh,
Moon or Ursaluna.
Ursaluna.
Yep. Flying type went Iron Jugulus because of Draft League. Psychic type Fergarath because there wasn't a whole lot of psychic types that I could
No,
think of
there's
that I
not.
really enjoyed. Bug type, really do like low kicks. I wish it was better. I love the design of low kicks. Rock type Garganackle, because it's Minecraft boy, and I did use it in my Scarlet and Violet playthrough. Um, Ghost type Houndstone because no, it's not Houndstone. That's the little baby one, right? Or is
Graveyard.
that no? Is it the baby? Did I pick the baby one?
The baby one, yeah. Do you want the big one?
Yeah. No. That's the right one. I just want to make sure I got it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little baby. I love that little guy. He's cute. Dragon type. I love Salamence. So I saw Roaring Moon. I was absolutely in love.
Yeah.
Dark type on this one, King Gambit.
Has to be.
One of the ones where I was just like, why the fuck did it give it an evolution? I was like scratching my head at that one, but I was like, all right, I'm here for it. Steel type, got to go Tinkaton on that one because I love the lore behind it. It's got a giant fucking hammer. I picked Dashbun as my fairy type because I was hungry.
Valid.
Yeah. Starter Fuecoco because he's got no brain and he's just a dumb little boy. And I love that he's clueless and he's just happy to be alive. Gimmick form. What was it? Sinistra.
Yeah.
I think was it no? What is it? What is it? Is it
Sinistra.
Sinistra?
Yeah, it's Sinistra.
Yeah, Sinistra. Yeah, Sinistra because there wasn't a whole lot of different gimmicks I could choose from. And then Legend. Yeah, I like Koraidon. I think he's a cool Pokemon. I mean, I probably spent the most time in Scarlet and Violet riding on the back of one, so it just kind of grew on me. And so when we went Legends, I'm like, I just got. I guess
I do think
gotta go with
it's
this one.
it's a cooler looking one. And like
Yeah, it's
Miraidon's
by far the
okay,
cooler.
but like the main on this thing is just and the shiny
Koraidon
as
sick.
well. When the shinies come
Yeah.
out, the shiny of this one is unreal.
Sick.
So what we'll do, we'll take a quick cut, and then I will just reveal the favorites. I'll let Lukey Boy go first, but let me quickly cut it out, and we will join you back where we can reveal our favorites of the favorites. Okay, with a quick pause, we are back, and we have revealed the two side columns. So the good thing about this website is it then lets you pick your favorites of the favorites. So going horizontally, you pick the favorite of the generation, and then going vertically, you pick your favorite of the type. And then right in the bottom right, you'll see the gold thing just above Luke. That is your favorite of all of the favorites.
Yes. So, I guess I will go first, and I'm gonna go by favorite of the types.
Yep.
And then I will go favorite generation. So, favorite normal type for me was Tauros. Out of all the ones, again, I love Tauros. Love that Pokemon. It's super sick. Favorite fire type out of the list that was shown. I love Houndoom the best out of all of them. It was a close tie between Houndoom and Arcanine, Gen 1 and Gen 2, but I had to give it to Houndoom on that one because I wanted to give him some love. Favorite water type on the list went with Sharpedo because Sharpedo is sick. Um, Again, now that I realize I made a mistake, it shouldn't be Appleton. It's Diplin, but either or. I love
I'll throw
Appleton
it in
and
for you.
Diplin. Yeah, I love. To be fair, in all fairness, I love Appleton again as well as much as Diplin, but it's because it's a stupid dinosaur with an apple pie on its back. But Dip God for for what it did for me in draft league and just the memories of using a fucking Diplin and killing lives. It's just hilarious to me. Favorite electric type, Ampharos. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Favorite ice type, Lapras. Again, one of my favorite Pokemon. But it was really close between that and Ice Cube. But I do love
Yeah.
Lapras just a little bit more. Favorite fighting type out of the list, honestly, fucking Flamigo, dude. That thing is so
Sleeper
stupid.
pick.
Sleeper pick for me, but man, Flamigo is mi amigo, dude. Like I love it. Favorite poison type went Nidoking. Favorite ground type went Golurk. Favorite flying type had to represent the Norfolk Noctows, went Noctowl on this one. Favorite psychic type, honestly, it wasn't even close. It was Gallade, not even close. Favorite bug type, Heracross on this one. Favorite rock type, again for Nuzlocke purposes, I went with Golem. Favorite ghost type on the list, I went with Aegislash because I do think Aegislash is sick. Favorite dragon type went Salamis because it's my third favorite Pokemon of all time. Well, no, it's not. It's my fourth favorite Pokemon of all time. Steel type went with Dark type. Sorry, Dark type. Umbreon. Umbreon is my number 3 favorite Pokemon of all time. Favorite Steel type went with Metagross. Favorite Fairy type wasn't really close at all. Togekiss on that one. Favorite starter, I mean, no shock here. It's Charizard because it's
Pikachu.
Of course it's Charizard. Of course it's Charizard. Favorite gimmick is Mega Charizard X. No surprise there. Favorite legend being Raikou because it's my second favorite and my favorite legendary Pokemon by far. And then when we're talking about favorite Pokemon from each generation, starting at the very top, favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, obviously Charizard. Favorite Gen 2 Pokemon, Raikou. Favorite Gen 3 Pokemon, Salamence. Favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, Gallade. Favorite Gen 5 Pokemon, Golurk. Favorite Gen 6 Pokemon, Noivern. Gen 7 favorite Pokemon, Zeraora. Favorite Gen 8 Pokemon being Ice-Q. Favorite Gen 9 Pokemon being the Amigo Flamigo. And then obviously my favorite Pokemon of all time is Charizard. So there you
go. Wow. It all worked out in the end. So
I'll show you. All roads lead back to Charizard.
And I will show you mine. So I will do the opposite. Gen 1, Poliwhirl. Gen 2, Crobat. Gen 3, Sableye. Gen 4, Gliscor. Gen 5, Hydreigon. Gen 6, Goodra. And then up until this point, they're all like bluey purple.
It's true. They are like that color.
They all look the similar. Then Gen 7 has to be the Sandygast. If it was shiny, it would follow like the blue, purple, black combo.
Mm-hmm.
Gen 7, I believe. No, Gen 8. Zapdos Galar. Gen 9. I went with Sliverwing. I don't know how I ended up there, but I ended up with Sliverwing. Then, so normal type, Farfetch'd, of course. Fire type, Entei. Water type, technically not a water type, but still counts, Rotom Wash. Grass type, Maractus. Electric type, Raichu. Don't laugh at Maractus, man. It's sick. Ice type, Alolan Vulpix.
Okay.
Fighting type, I went with Hitmontop. Poison type, obviously Crobat. Is this ground type? It is ground type. This is Sandygast. Flying type, I went with Murkrow. Psychic type, I went with Gothitelle. Bug type, I went with Sliverwing. Rock type, I went with Hisuian Arcanine. Dark type, Ghost type, I went with Sableye. Dark type, I went with Hydreigon. Dragon type, I went with Hydreigon. Dark type, I went with Houndoom. because Houndoom is awesome. Steel type, I had a bit of a wobble, and I was like, you know what? It should be it's Scizor. Fairy type,
Yeah.
Mimikyu. Starter, favorite starter of all time, Mudkip.
Oh, fair.
And then favorite gimmick form, I think I went with Mega Banette, just because I think a lot of the gimmicks I'm not a big buy-in, but I think when
Yeah.
I think gimmick, I don't think regional form. So I
Yeah.
think Mega, Gigantamax, so on and so forth. Favorite legend, I went with Marshadow. And then favorite of all favorites, I went with Hydreigon. So nothing that you guys didn't know already.
Yes. Very
There is
much.
a little bit of
All this.
there is a little bit of a bonus, which I will show. So it then lets
Yeah.
you like pick a team. So I went with Hydreigon, Mimikyu, Marshadow, Rotom, Wash, Entei, and Crobat. This is effectively three of my draft league teams, all just drafted into one.
Fair.
My favorite regional bird is Tailor. My favorite mammal, Zigzagoon. My favorite bug, Spinarak. Pseudo legend, Hydreigon. Favorite Pikachu clone is Mimikyu. Favorite evolution, if I had to pick one, was Umbreon. Fossil, Aerodactyl. Regional form, Galarian Zapdos. Favorite Gigantamax is always and always will be forever Chonkachu. The return of the original Pikachu. Favorite baby is Munchlax. Favorite box legendary. I struggled with this one. I was speaking to Luke before we started. I like Kyogre as a box
Okay.
art. I just don't know why. Favorite mythical, Marshadow, Ultra Beast, Nagandalel, or however you want to say it. Favorite paradox is by far Slitherwing. If you hadn't guessed already, my favorite type is Dark. My favorite Pokeball to match the Dark type is Luxury Ball. My favorite Spinder is the one with the ones on the eyes. Favorite Vivillon we've already discussed is the snowy form, the pure white.
Yep.
It makes you pick your favorite alchemy. I just went green on green. Pistachio with mint.
Yep.
Who doesn't like that? And then my favorite new Evo, I went with Kingdra. Luke, I
Nice.
think, is similar, I think. Let's have a look. There we
Yeah.
go.
So team, I honestly just picked a semi-balanced team of my favorite Pokemon. So we have Charizard, Raikou, Salamence, Golurk, Palafin Hero, Executor, don't fuck with me, I will fuck your shit up. You encountered me on the side of Route 21 before Victory Road, be prepared. Favorite regional bird went Hoot Toot. Favorite regional mammal went Bidoof. Favorite regional mammal went God. Favorite regional
God.
bug, I went Venipede. I do like Venipede. I think Venipede's a cool looking little bug guy. Favorite pseudo legendary, Salamence. Favorite Pikachu clone, I do like Emolga a lot.
Hey, Moga's cool.
Favorite evolution, Umbreon. Favorite fossil, Aurorus on that one. Favorite regional form, Hisuian and Arcanine. Favorite Gigantamax because again made Charizard great competitively, so Gigantamax Charizard. Favorite little baby, love little Elekid. He's a cute little guy. Favorite box legendary, I love the Emerald box legend. Got to go with Ray on that one. Favorite mythical, Zeraora. Favorite Ultra Beast being Guzzlord. Favorite Paradox being Roaring Moon. Favorite type, if you haven't guessed, Fire type. Favorite ball, just like Jake, I do love the Luxury Ball. Favorite Spinda, I think I just picked the first Spinda that was on there. I don't think I gave a
Yeah, it's
flying
cool.
fuck about Spinda. Favorite Vivillon, I went with a Pokeball one. Favorite Alcremie, I think I just picked yellow because it's yellow. And then favorite new Evo, I did go with Annihilate because I don't know, when I saw like some of the newer ones, I'm like, I'm just gonna pick the newest Evo I saw. And so for me, that was Annihilate.
Yeah, that's cool. And that
Yeah.
is a very long wrap up of our favorites of the
Yeah.
favorites of the favorites.
Yeah. The favorites of the favorites of the favorites of the favorites. Our
I think
favorites.
it's really cool when you actually sit there and like do it
Yeah.
yourself. Going through it, you do realize that there's like some generations actually got shafted, like Gen 6.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's
Gen
nothing
6.
there. I
Yeah.
think
X to Y was by far the worst one to pick
there
from.
is
It was
legs
rough.
for us to do this again. Maybe we'll fill it all
Yeah.
in together. There is a way you could do your favorite shinies. So I think me and Luke
Yeah.
at some point in the future we'll sit down and we'll fill the
Yeah.
whole table in with shinies.
Yeah, we will. We will definitely do that for sure. It was a lot of fun. Like you said, I think it was really cool, like a cool way to reflect back on the vast majority of Pokemon that there are. Over 1,000 Pokemon. Kind of looking a quick back at the different generations and seeing how different typings have developed over time. Again, like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, very slim pickings on some of the new typings, and then going down to like Gen 7 and Gen 8 and Gen 9 and having a ton of steel types, a ton of dark types, a ton of fairy types to choose from. Really, really cool. And yeah, I think overall it was just a great trip down memory lane. It was a lot of fun to look at all these different Pokemon about and looking at Pokemon that I probably honestly haven't really thought about in a really long time. That weren't like my favorite, like my top 10 favorites that we did, a couple months back. So I really enjoyed this. It was a great idea, Jake.
Hey, thank you. It's
Yeah,
it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. We'll
yeah,
probably take a break for the Pokemon content for a while. We've
yeah.
done a fair few now. When
Yes.
we'll try and mix it back up again with some more not IRL content, but aside from Pokemon,
This is-
because we don't want to blast your eyes
yeah.
out with
Yeah,
consistent
yeah.
Pokemon
We
over and
love
over again.
yeah, we love Pokemon. Don't get us wrong, guys, but we will make sure probably the next time you'll hear us talk about Pokemon will probably be if we ever get any news. If we get news about ZA, then Pokemon's on the table. But for the time
Watch it be
being,
next
we're
week.
gonna get oh my god. And be like, all right, we're finally guys, we're done with Pokemon. Hey guys, they just announced the new Evos for ZA. I'm like, all right, everyone, shut the fuck up. Everyone sit down. We're going back to Pokemon. We're just gonna call this the dual hemisphere Pokemon. Anyways, anyways, guys. But that's been it for today, guys. We're gonna let you guys go. Appreciate you guys always listening, tuning in every single week. You guys, on the list in the YouTube link below, I'll list the site where you can fill one out yourself if you're interested in that. And if you follow us on social media, I'll leave the link there as well that you guys can check out on there. But that's gonna do us for today. I've been Luke. That has been Jake. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.